Prisons Minister, Rory Stewart, was interviewed on this morning's edition of BBC Breakfast, in discussion of the £10 million investment being made by the government into the prison system. It had been reported that the Conservative government is planning to invest the sum of money in a down on drugs and violence in 10 of Britain's crisis prisons. However, presenter Charlie Stayt heavily questioned the minister on the reforms, which led to a shock admission by the interviewee. In a last-minute thought, the prison minister declared he would quit his role if the changes he wants to see had not happened within the next 12 months. The BBC News programme presenter interrupted Stewart to ask one final question in the closing moments of the interview. Stayt asked, "Are you seriously suggesting in 12 months' time I'll speak to you and we'll look at those statistics from those 10 prisons, and if they are the same or worse, what, you're going to quit?" Stewart did not stumble or take a second to respond, instant replying to say, "Yep, I will quit if I haven't succeeded in 12 months in reducing the levels of drugs and violence in those prisons." Following his admission, the prisons minister went on to add, "I want to make a measurable difference. I believe in our prison service, I believe in our prison officers, I believe that this can be turned around, that I want you to judge me on those results and I'll resign if I don't succeed," he concluded. That's what this investment is about. Earlier in the interview, Stewart outlined what the investment would bring to the system and how it will make a difference. Stewart explained, "Fundamentally the objective is to reduce the amount of drugs going into prisons, reduce the violence in prisons, and furthermore give us the opportunity to invest in turning around prisoners' lives, prevent reoffending and ultimately, protect the public." However, Stayt was quick to point out that £10 million was not a huge amount of money to bring down the levels at the rate the government is hoping for. Asking the question, he said, £10 million sounds like a very small sum of money to do what everyone concedes to see as a huge scale problem. Why so little? The prison minister responded, "The key is not the resources, as you say are relatively modest, the key really is the philosophy we bring to this. In other words, the training, the support for the prison officers." In greater detail, Stewart went on to add that the role of a prison officer is challenging and they need the extent of training to target the root cause of the drugs and violence. He also added that the point of it all was to change the prisoners' lives in order to prevent them reoffending, ultimately protecting the British public. However, the interviewer persisted with the questioning and claimed that the money would make no difference at all to the prison system. The prison minister went on to add what the money would specifically be spent on. He said, "This money allows you to identify drugs inside people's bus with an airport-style scanner. It's making sure that the governor is really able to focus on not just fixing the windows, but getting the grills up to prevent people using drones." Ultimately, Stewart declared what the investment all comes down to. He explained, "It's providing the money for the training and the support, often for young prison officers, to make sure they can develop the right relationships with the prisoners and make these places stable, calm in order to do all that education and work." BBC Breakfast airs weekday mornings at 6 a.m. on BBC One.